Welcome back. Well, the grotesque grooming gang scandal in the UK has been exposed even further. An abuse survivor claims levels of child grooming in London are more catastrophic than anywhere else in the country. Joining me now is writer and broadcaster Esther Kraku. Esther, nice to see you. Can we expect an investigation or another cover-up, do you think?
Well, at this point, I don't think the government can run away from any more investigations. We saw their latest U-turn of actually calling for a national inquiry. You have to understand that the British government has called inquiry for some of the most inane things. So to think that they would refuse or reject an investigation into probably the biggest national disgrace in Britain's history is beggars belief. But it's quite interesting to hear the survivors' comments on how grooming is actually quite catastrophic in London, because it would make sense. You know, it has a massive population. It's our largest city. It's very diverse, and yet you see a lot of discrepancies between sort of what the Metropolitan Police are saying is London's rate of child sexual grooming and child sexual abuse, and then what is being reported by the individual boroughs in London, which would suggest some inconsistencies in data collection. And the Metropolitan Police have actually admitted to this, and they're saying that they're trying to fix it and get on top of it. And I'm sure that when they do, we will actually see such high rates of child grooming and sexual abuse that it would really just kind of blow the water on the other towns that we've seen. We've seen, you know, towns like Oldham and Rotherham and you know, other parts of Greater Manchester and many northern cities. And you have to think, if you have such a significantly, you know, a high number of these kinds of abuses of children, what can London hold? I mean, we saw grooming gangs coming out of cities like Oxford, for example, you know, a university town and other parts of the UK. So London is naturally, just in terms of population and numbers, supposed to have the highest number. And I'm sure that when those figures finally do come out, it will be catastrophic.
Yeah, it's shocking again, unfortunately. Now, it looks as though the Keir Starmer regime's next target is workplace banter. New laws drawn up would see diversity officers hired to crack down on workplace banter deemed offensive. These new employees will be tasked with, among other things, protecting staff from the possibility of offensive content of overheard conversations. Esther, so basically hearsay. Can you believe it?
Yes, I mean, just to paint a picture of what that could possibly look like, if you worked in a pub and you heard conversations by some of the people that you were serving that you found offensive on the grounds of race or gender, which this bill actually says, you could take your boss to court for not doing what you deemed as appropriate to stop it. So basically marching out someone from the pub for making a joke that you don't like. And this is a bill that's being spearheaded by the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, and she thinks this is you know, a way to protect employment rights in this company. But as many business leaders and Conservatives have said, it's completely unworkable. You cannot further burden businesses with the possibility that someone, a third party, no less, not even another fellow employee, a third party may say something that would offend an employee. Then that begs the question, why are you still working there? How is that the employer's problems? You know, employers can't screen everything that potential customers says. It's just an unusual, unworkable burden, but it's something that Angela Rayner seems to be pushing through as part of the employment rights bill, which has been quite strongly fought over in Parliament.
I just think it's extraordinary, and what a way to continue killing off business in the UK at a time when you need that sort of level of productivity. It absolutely beggars belief. Now, look, I want to pivot now to the royals. Prince Harry has actually been savaged as having no discernible talent and depicted by a puppet, would you believe? Have a look at this.
It is a joke. Laugh, muchachos.
Oh, Pads, you crack me up. Not that sort of crack, obviously. I mean, not that I would have, or not that I wouldn't, but I just meant like you make me laugh. With or without stuff, you know?
De nada, muchacho.
That's your grace. I'm here to tell my truth and make a ton of money out of podcasting, as I don't have any discernible talent.
Esther, I've got to say, I thought it looked like the Prince myself, but you've got to laugh, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the Prince has become a subject of satire, him and his wife, and it's largely of their own making. This is from an episode of Spitting Image, which ran from 1984 to 1996 in its original run and has now been rebooted as a YouTube program. And I'm sure they're taking a leaf out of the book of South Park when they decided to ridicule the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and how well that went down. And I'm sure that's kind of their strategy. But, you know, it's come back as a YouTube show. This is kind of light humor. And I'm sure at this point, Harry and Meghan expect it.
We're almost out of time, but do the UK public still laugh when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan?
Yes, I think they laugh and they cringe in equal measure. I mean, obviously, much of the public finds it distasteful that they seem to be banking off of their royal titles in a way that we find quite cringeworthy. I mean, you have actual working royals going to open a school in Wales on a rainy day in a very uncomfortable situation, and then you have these people in Montecito kind of bleating on about their hardships. But yes, I think the British public has largely moved on and would just like to see the back of them, really.
Yeah, I think the whole world at this point would like to see the back of them, that's for sure. Yet they just keep popping up over and over again. Esther Krakue, it's been really good to catch up with you. It's been a while. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening.